If you're moving to the Savannah area and you have kids, this is one of the most important conversations we are going to have because schools here are not simple. This is not a buy a house and send your kid to the neighborhood school type of city. And if you don't understand how this works before you buy, you can end up in a situation that's really hard to fix. And I just want to say this up front. If this already feels overwhelming, you're not alone. Every single relocation client we work with feels this way at first. I'm Allison Harris with the Harris Home Team, and today I'm going to walk you through how schools actually work in the Savannah area and how that impacts where you should live and help you make a confident decision for your family. So before we get into it, I want to tell you where this perspective is coming from. Number one, I was an educator here in Savannah. And number two, I've raised 2 kids in the public school system of Savannah. And on our team, we've seen this from every angle. We have a parent with kids in Bryan County public schools. We have a parent with kids in charter schools. We have private school experience, even homeschooling. So when we say we can help you navigate this, we are not guessing. We have absolutely lived it. So when I first start talking to a relocation client, the very first question I'm going to ask is, well, number one, are schools important? And if you say yes, number two, do you prefer public or private school? Because that answer is going to completely change how we search for homes. If you say private school, great. That is actually the simplest. We'll just simply send you our new to 912 guide, and then you can look through all of the different private school options. You can see tuition ranges, what grades they serve, and then you can start narrowing down what fits your family best. Now, if you say public school, we're going to slow it down. Because in the Savannah area, public school is not just one path, it is a strategy. So number one, let's talk about Bryan and Effingham County. So before we get too deep into Savannah, I'm going to give you the simple version because not every area works the same way. If you are looking in Bryan County or Effingham County schools, the schools are much more straightforward. Effingham County is what most people expect. You've got elementary schools, a middle school, and a high school. You're going to live in the zone, you're going to go to that school. There's not a ton of private school options, and most families out there are going to choose public schools. And one of the biggest reasons people move there is because their schools are consistently strong. Now in Bryan County, especially Richmond Hill, it's very popular for buyers who prioritize public schools. Bryan County is split into 2 areas. We've got North Bryan County, that's the Pembroke area, and South Bryan County, which is Richmond Hill. We're going to really focus on Richmond Hill in this video because that's where most of our clients are looking. The schools there are very structured. You've got multiple elementary schools, 1 middle school, and 1 high school. So if you live inside the city limits, you're usually in what's called the triangle of schools. It's a primary school, and then an elementary school, and then Carver for 4th and 5th. And if you live outside the city limits, you're going to be zoned for different elementary schools like McAllister and Francis Meeks. One quick note, zoning can change and does out in Bryan County, so we always want to double check that before you buy. So if you're looking for something simple, predictable, and easy to understand, Bryan and Effingham County are great options. But if you want to live in Savannah proper, that's where things get interesting and things work differently. So the biggest mistake I see, people move from areas where every neighborhood school is strong. So they just assume I'll just buy a house and I'll figure out the schools later. It does not work here like that. In Savannah, you need to decide on your school plan first and then choose your neighborhood because those 2 things are connected. Let me break this down. There are 4 main options in Savannah. Number one, neighborhood schools. You live there, you go there. Some of them are great, some of them aren't. Second, choice programs. That's where Savannah gets unique. These are specialty things, specialty programs that focus on things like STEM, maybe the arts, medical programs, Montessori education. Some of them are inside neighborhood schools. Some of them are an entire school. Some are partially zoned and some are 100% application or lottery. Third, charter schools, like public schools, but they operate a little differently. They may have their own calendar, their own leadership style, and their own teaching style. Examples of those include Coastal Empire Montessori, the Savannah Classical Academy, Tybee Maritime, Oglethorpe Charter, and Susie King Taylor. Then fourth, you've got private schools. So that's simple. You choose the school, you enroll your child, you pay the tuition. So if you're trying to research all of this from out of town, I'm sure it feels like a black hole. There's a lot of information out there, but it's not always easy to make sense of it. And most people start with sites like Great Schools, Niche, or schooldigger.com. And these are all helpful, but they don't explain how the system works. They don't tell you how the choice programs work, or how the lottery works, or how zoning impacts your options, or how families are actually navigating this in real life. And that is exactly why we created our New to 912 guide. In that guide, we've pulled everything together in one place so you can see all of the public schools, all of the private schools. We've even broken down tuition ranges, the charter schools, and what grades each school serves, and the contact information for the schools. So instead of trying to piece this together from 10 different websites, you can actually see it all in one place. Next up, let's talk about the lottery system. So this is directly related to our choice schools. This makes people really nervous, and I understand why. I was once a parent with kids going into the lottery, and it is a very harrowing experience. So some of our specialty programs or choice schools have no testing, no auditions, and no requirements, and it's purely lottery. And some are going to be a hybrid. So some do have auditions and testing and requirements, but they still may have a lottery. You could have hundreds of kids applying for a small number of spots. Names get pulled, and that's it. Everyone else goes on to a waiting list. And that list can move. I've had a kid get into school from a waiting list twice, but there's no guarantees. And if you have multiple children, they do like to keep sibling sets together in most cases. Caveat though, pre-K is different. That's a state-funded program and it has its own set of rules. And I want to be really honest here. I've seen families get their first choice right away, and I've seen families try year after year and never get into their preferred school. I've also seen families who didn't get into their first choice, but still found a fantastic path that worked really well for their child. So if you're navigating this system, there are 3 things that really matter, and this is the choice school system. First, deadlines. Applications open in January, and if you miss the window, you're out for the year. And then second, testing and preparation. Some programs require benchmarks, and if your child is not quite there, you want to get support early. We have great resources in Savannah if your kids are not testing on grade level for reading or math. I know I sent my kids to the Sylvan Learning Center. Shout out to Dino Papadopoulos. We have had a tremendous experience getting our kids on target using Sylvan Learning Center. And then the third, let's talk about strategy. This is especially important when it comes to arts programs because sometimes it's not just about talent, it's about the availability of spots. For example, my daughter auditioned for the Savannah Arts Academy when she was going into the 9th grade. And little did I know, they only had 2 spots for flute players, and she was the 3rd best that day. So she got waitlisted. She did eventually get in, and she had an awesome high school experience, but that moment shows how competitive it can be. So you may want to select an arts area or have your child select an arts area that's a little bit more open. For instance, visual arts, maybe there's 40 spots in visual arts, or in theater, maybe there's 40 spots. A very specialized musical instrument is going to have a very limited number of spots. So that really shows how competitive it can be and how important strategy might be. I think we should talk about how all of this impacts buying though, because after all, I'm a realtor and this is a real estate YouTube channel. About 75% of our clients choose their school plan first, and then they choose their home. And that's exactly what I recommend. Because if you buy in a zone that you are not comfortable with the neighborhood school, and your child does not get into a program, a specialty program, your options are going to be A, send them to the neighborhood school anyway, or pay for private school. So you want to make that decision carefully. Now, when people feel overwhelmed, we simply distill this down to one simple question. And that question is, how important is it for you to be able to enroll your child in a school you feel confident in without relying on a lottery? Once we've answered that, we can guide you toward the areas that match that priority. I've raised 2 kids here in Savannah, and I've navigated the public school system, and here's what I've learned. No 2 kids are the same. One of mine had a very straightforward path, and the other one needed something completely different. Different schools, different support, and a totally different environment. And both paths were right. If I could go back and give myself advice, it would be to relax a little bit. There is so much pressure around our children's education, and what works for one child may not work for another. So if you're feeling overwhelmed, that's completely normal. But the good news is there are a lot of great options in the Savannah area. You just need the right plan. Before you start looking at homes, go to new912.com and download our New to 912 guide. It's going to give you a much clearer picture of how schools work here and what your options are. And if you want help actually applying this to your particular situation, reach out to us. We'll help you. We'll help you think through your school plan. We'll connect you with local resources and make sure you're buying in the right area for your child. Because this is one of those decisions that's really hard to undo once you make it. Because in the Savannah area, the school plan isn't separate from the home search. It kind of is the home search.